More tuning of the nature of progress operation. Yes, that is its name. SWTORista and Zamzam have interviews and a look back at macro binoculars. These topics and more coming up on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 310. Hey, 310. Playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey, Max. So here we are on a Thursday night. This is our third Thursday in a row. So we're doing the Thursday thing apparently. But yeah, this week, let's see. Let me start with MFN. We did a thing, which was we broke up into groups and did various and different parts of the macro binocular quest line. And I have to say, B. Kavanaugh gets extra kudos for making all that happen, because that is not an easy thing to do, is keep multiple groups going, especially that are on different phases of stuff, with everybody sort of communicating with their groups, but in the bigger group too. But it was a lot of fun, and I was able to finish it, and we are going to talk about that later in the show in more detail. I mean, I had done it before, but it was really fun to go back and be reminded of it. It's very colorful mission, so I recommend it. Then we did a thing too on our ops night tonight. We went and did the Queen twice, which is what we do now. Um, and then we went and did Red Palace because it was Group Finder, and we could use the conquest points for the guild. And that it made me realize it's been a while since we've actually done Dread Palace as an 8-man group, because we've done it a few times on MFM with 16 people. And it was fun to just kind of blow through there for once. And by blow through there, I mean we didn't wipe it all. Nothing, no mistakes happened on Calpheus, nothing like that. Um, I had minor hardware issue of some sort, or software issue or something, where my computer just stopped working, and I had to, not only did I have to turn it off, I had trouble turning it off. Like the power button wasn't working. I had to like try it like 10 times. And then I had to try it like 10 times to get it to turn back on again. But anyway, I'm here. So we got that going for us, which is nice.
Which is nice.
So yeah, and I've been thinking about 6.0 and maybe what I'm going to do to prepare for that, but we're going to talk about that on a subsequent show. But yes, I've been thinking about that, logging in different characters, looking at my inventory, looking at my achievements, thinking about what do I want to accomplish before then. But more on that on another night. Tonight we're going to talk about Dxun and the Shroud.
Yes, we are.
So how about you, Max? How are you doing tonight?
Thank you for asking. I've been doing
Because
quite
I
well.
don't always.
I was I was a little distracted. I saw a guy behind us here. We're down here in the Slippery Slopes Cantina, and he looked like a brother from another mother because his legacy name is Gray, just like mine. But he seems a little busy. So maybe you can go take a peek over there at Karn Gray over there and Vikila, who are standing real close to each other, face to face over there at the bar, and just standing there. So I'm going to leave them be for now and talk about my week.
Yeah, let's do that.
the, telling you, there's a lot of RP going on Starforge in a good way. Um, so yeah, Summer 300. Summer 300. That's why I'm on my sniper here. So sniper don't queue, but sniper, click on your boxes. Let me open my command stash here so you can see my command rank 297. And I'm going to click on a couple things here. 298, 299, 300 achievement commanding agent.
Woohoo!
There I go. Only one more class to get Resolute Commander. So I'm saving it. I'm saving it until it's too late.
Saving it to savor it.
So, yeah, Summer 300, it's pretty much over. Well, actually, if we think about it, there's really only 2 more days in summer, isn't there? We will be hitting fall.
Summer's over.
The autumnal equinox will be arriving. We will be orbiting our star. You Earthlings orbit your star in a certain period, which means yeah, we'll be at the equinox in 2 days. So end of summer. Winter is coming.
We no, yep, it's summer's over. We had our first frost warning today.
Really, really,
Yep.
that's terrifying. Uh,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
but yeah, so I summer 300. There's one last character to go, so I'm definitely done with that. I'm just sort of dragging it out. Maybe I'll do the last one next week, get my Resolute Commander, and show that off for fun. I have been back on the PTS. I spent Saturday with Marcus and team. A bunch of good people were in there. We got on the PTS. We did another run through. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit about that in the news segment, and I will show a couple more clips that we got a little bit farther this week. We didn't finish the last boss, but we got an attempt in there on the end of the night. That was really cool. We did finish the second to last boss, the Hunt Master, which we did not last time, so we've got that fight down. It's pretty interesting to see that. And it's all getting tuned up. Hence the name of the title of our podcast tonight is Ducks in a Row, because Matt is tuning up Dxun and he's getting all his ducks in a row for Dxun. So I really
Yes.
liked that that
I
title.
like it too. I have to admit.
Uh, we did push this week until Thursday. We were rolling the dice one more time, hoping we would get the next update. I haven't been on the PTS all that much this week because I was hoping for the acquisition updates. We'll talk a little bit about what happened, where it is, what's in and what's not in, or what got taken out. But that's probably what I'll do some of next week then. So I'll probably go back to live a little bit more, just like we did tonight, and maybe do a little conquest, push our guild over the large goal again, and it should be fun.
I mean, it's kind of addicting doing it on Thursday night because by the time the following Tuesday rolls around, nothing new has happened to talk about because things don't happen on the weekend.
Right, we sort of get
They
ourselves in a little
rarely.
bit of a situation there, don't we?
Yeah, they don't often happen on a Monday or a Tuesday, and then we think, well, there's going to be a new PTS. Maybe we'll, blah blah blah. So
Right. So we'll see where we end up, but these Thursdays have sort of been working out when we've got this kind of content news update schedule. So we'll see. But we do have a tiny bit of news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So first up, one of the bounty contract weeks was yanked out of the schedule, the event schedule, so that they could run a couple of the pirate event weeks because they wanted to get a couple extra as in the lead up to 6.0. However, that of course led everyone in the forums to believe suddenly that bounty contract week was dead and was never coming back ever again. So Daniel Steed had to put a post up there that said, "No, it's not dead yet," and they just wanted to get an extra one in. In fact, it will be coming back on November 5th. So, break week, Relics of the Gree, break week, Rakghoul Resurgence, break week, Bounty Contract, break week, Pirate Incursion. That's what our schedule is going through about the third week in November. So there's that.
I mean, it's kind of funny that, but like a similar thing happened on the WoW forums this week when somebody noticed that the Dark Moon Fair, which has been happening once a month, is an event in that game that happens every month and has been happening every month for easily 8 years. It's been around since the beginning, but it's been on a monthly schedule for 8 years at least. But it wasn't on the in-game calendar, and all of a sudden people were like, "Well, did they stopped doing the Dark Moon Fair and they didn't tell us? Way to go, Blizzard!" Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, it's just not on the. It messed up.
Guys,
The calendar messed up. It's happening.
it's like infants in object permanence. You know? It's like you put the blanket over their head and oh my god, the world is gone. Did reality cease to exist? Take the blanket off. Oh, you're still here. You still exist. Good to know. Yeah. Okay.
So also this week, the PTS is back up. It does have some of the Dxun changes in, but the acquisition stuff is still not ready for testing. In fact, they did have one of the vendors in for a very short time that was selling the tech currency that I forget what it's called.
For
Flew out of my
technical
mind,
tech
but
fragments, tech fragments.
tech fragments. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, but they had to take it out because there was something wrong with the vendor, so it's not in there now. And yeah,
Well, as someone was saying earlier, as someone was saying earlier, uh, vendors are pretty new tech. It's a little bit
yeah,
difficult to implement. So you could see, you
you
you could
could
try
see
to put a
how
vendor in the game, and then you'd need to take it out because
having the items actually have their tool tips and
sorry,
stuff is
sorry, Bioware,
fine.
but yeah.
Sorry. Um, there is feedback though in those threads about because for the people who did see it for a while it was up. But I mean, we're still kind of in holding pattern there. We got to really see how they want to implement it before we can give feedback. So that's where we are on that
Should I
one.
do my feedback pitch, like I said? And
Yeah.
so there was feedback in the forums, and I imagine,
Oh,
Seema, that
right.
everyone came together and gave really positive encouragement to BioWare
A
and talked about how they
balanced,
liked the where they were going, but they wanted to. No, it was a shit show, obviously.
obviously.
If anyone gets that reference, let us know. So yes, so there's that. But then more specifically, the Dxun updates did go in. Uh, the two sets of updates. So some updates went in right before the weekend. So what we did on Saturday included update number 4. So if you look at the dev tracker, Matt posted update number 4 for the PTS and all of the things that went into the nature of progress operation. That's what the name of the operation is. We're all just going to call it Dxun forever. Uh, and then update number 5 also went in this week, and we did not. I haven't tried the update number 5 stuff. I was trying to remember if anything really interesting. Oh, definitely look at the serum. So when you walk in, if you remember when I showed in the video, when you walk into the facility, you get into that first facility room. There's a lab over on the right, and there's a couple places within the facility that you can pick up a stim off the table, and it's like a little rack of test tubes. It looks really cool. That stim has an ability, and in fact, that stim has multiple abilities in certain ways, and you need to pay attention to what that is and what it does and what using it twice can do to you and what the downside is. And it's they put a little bit of work into that, and it's been tuned up a little bit, so check that out. I thought that was kind of cool, and Matt was definitely pointing it out. He was again on the PTS this weekend for the teams that were running on the PTS and pointing some things out and making commentary, talking in general and answering a couple questions here and there. Definitely get in there on the PTS, get your group in there, and if you're gonna do it, post a note on the forums or drop a note to Eric Musco to let Matt know that you're gonna be out there, and he'll come watch because he likes to see teams try it out. So he was watching
I
us
mean,
try it out. Yeah.
one thing that got my attention there too is that they put a 24-hour lockout on story mode operations. They removed the idea of them having no lockouts, and so now it has a 24-hour lockout.
Right. Is that
I find that interesting,
permanent?
but I'm not sure what it's supposed to
I'm wondering about
accomplish.
Adrenaline Rush.
Oops, sorry, let me mute that. I'm bringing up the video of our fight. Yeah. Uh, I'm interested as well. Why why 24 hours and not no lockout? And
Well,
then
why no lockout in the first place? I mean, I only see how it hurts us. I don't know how it benefits the game.
because you can't come back the next night.
Right.
I kind of agree with that. Although you could come back the next night now, you just couldn't come back 2 nights later. So that's not
If
great.
you timed it carefully enough, yeah, you could come back the next night.
But it's only for story mode. So there's that.
Right, which is all we ever do. I mean, what it affects for us is when we take new people through story.
Right.
mode ops. And sometimes what we do with the longer ones, like Scum and Villainy, is we'll have one of our ops teams come in and clear up to a certain point so that MFN group gets to see the end of an operation that's a long, because it takes a long time to get 16 people who've never, who possibly have never done any ops before through something like Scum and Villainy. Well,
Yeah.
now we can still do that. They just have to do it on Tuesday, earlier on Tuesday, which is what we were doing anyway.
Right. Right. Which
It's
is what we
better.
were
It's
doing.
better than no lockout at all.
So the only other commentary I have on that, which we've tossed around in guild chat a little bit, is one of the things that we hope that they could potentially fix, and we can think of a good fix for it, is when you have any kind of lockout, the ability for conquest guilds to save a lockout to the last boss and cycle like tons of people through last boss kills to get a bunch of conquest points for a operation clear, and just do it
Yeah.
over and over
Okay.
and over again. That, that's still a bit of a bummer. So the question was, can you fix that? Could you fix that potentially by
I see.
spreading
Okay.
out the conquest across all of the bosses? So fine, you want to just farm the last boss over and over again, do it. But you're not going to get any more or less than doing the whole operation. So uh, that aside, here's us doing the Hunt Master on Saturday. There are still a couple bugs. Matt's tuning it up. That yellow circle that you were seeing there on the screen, that's a circle. You get an incendiary grenade that sticks to you. You drop a circle on the ground. The circle, it's actually interesting. The circle starts quite large. It starts about a 15-meter radius, and it slowly goes down to about a 3-meter radius. It slowly shrinks. You need to use that circle to kill the ads. We weren't doing it exactly right last time. Our new way of doing it, again, spoilers. I'm talking a little bit about the operation here. But our new way of doing it is I'm watching the video and I'm trying to move my camera so I can see stuff.
Right.
Is the off tank is outside the white circle because the ads can't come into the white circle, the light circle. And then we run that grenade to the off tank. That seemed to work pretty well for us. Then you use that circle to kill the ads. You try to keep the ads killed so the Huntmaster isn't killing the ads, because if the Huntmaster kills the ads, he gets his stacks. But yeah, so we got this one down pretty quick. This other circle that you can see in this phase of the fight, let me back it up just a second. So there's the big white circle, which is the light circle. This circle, the color of this boundary around here was white last time, which made us think we were supposed to run into it, which is not what you should do, because then he headshots you. The name of this color is apparently Rorange. So if you look in the patch notes, you will see a note that says it has been colored ROARNG. That's the name of the color. So Matt clarified on Saturday that yes, it is named Rorange. So deal with it, which I liked. So yeah, we did that fight, which was good, and then we really liked. Here's the part that you're really gonna like. Okay, a little bit of a spoiler. You don't DPS the Huntmaster down to 0. Once he gets down to, in fact, he's got a buff on him that says something. He regen. He's got a regen ability at 30% or something. Well, at 30%, he goes over by the pond to go do his little regen ability. Yeah, he withdraws to a holdout position to do his regen ability, and I glanced my camera up, and I'm like, he's holding out, and then bam, one of those giant frog creatures jumps out of the water and eats the Huntmaster. And then you gotta finish killing the giant frog, which is pretty straightforward. And his name is Chalet. But then watch this, Ema. You kill the frog. You loot the boss. And then you walk right through this door, and you're the next boss.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Just a doorway, no trash, no lead up, and then you are at I forgot what this guy's name is.
Oh, look at his teeth. Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's a problem with the cutscene. Watch me in the cutscene.
You're spinning.
spinning, and then you blast off.
Going faster and faster.
Yeah, so your character is just sort of out of focus on the left side of the cutscene, and you, while the voiceover is going on, you just start spinning faster and faster until you're like, 60 times a second, and then you just rocket out, rocket up into the air.
I think that's probably there you go. I think that's totally intentional.
I think it's intentional so far. I don't think it's going to continue to be intentional. But we didn't get this fight down. In fact, they're tuning this up as well in the second set of patch notes. So let me go back to that for a second. In update number 5 patch notes, you'll notice a couple of the notes talk about this particular fight, the Apex Vanguard. And in particular, use of the ventilation and scrubber stations now consumes 1 charge of power off of the battery, up from 0. So the deal here is there is a battery. You do need to make use of it, and making this kind of thing slightly harder, which is you actually need to use the battery and consume a charge off of it, actually makes the rest of the fight easier because now you get what you're supposed to do. Seeing nothing happen when you use it, and it like not decreasing at all, and not understanding that it's actually doing something even though you have it. That's why they have this comment here at the bottom of this particular update that says this is one of those interesting situations where making one thing slightly harder will probably make the encounter easier overall. So that's something to keep in mind. I thought that was an interesting dev note.
Yeah.
But we did a couple polls on it, and it was end of the night. It was very late, and we said, all right, we'll just pull it once or twice. We have no idea what's going on. One person in here had actually done parts of the fight before, so they kind of knew, but they said, oh, fine, you just go ahead. And so we didn't get it down, but it didn't seem... It definitely is a mechanics heavy fight. There's stuff you got to do, and I'm sure in the harder modes it's going to be kind of crazy what you need to do with these different stations along the walls and the lights and what they do. And you'll see here, like later in the fight, the room, so you fight him, you're dragging him around. There's these big circles on the ground. He goes into these regen phases that you need to sort of be stopping. You got circles on you that you need to be spreading out. And then the whole room starts to fill up with this violet fog, which is poisonous. There's a mechanic somewhere in here, some sort of fan apparently, that you use to blow the fog out of the room. We didn't figure it out completely, but there's some cool stuff going on in this fight. You're basically using the mechanics of the research facility to defeat this boss, and so I kind of like that. See, it got dark and different thing. He does different things in the dark versus the light. When the lights go off and the power generator breaks, which you actually DPS to destroy the power coupling. So it's cool. It's cool mechanic, cool fight, cool looking boss. He's got big rocket launchers on his shoulders that he shoots at people. So we were having fun with them.
And lobster claws.
He's got lobster claws for hands, like Zoidberg.
Yep.
I think update number 4 had a note about, oh yeah, his rockets actually do damage now, even though they didn't before, kind of thing. So again, ducks in a row, getting it tuned up. It's looking good. I like it. I can't wait to be running it for real.
Do you like it better than Gods from the Machine?
Yes, only because it's shorter. Even though
Yeah,
I like the tech operations better than the mystical operations. So I like
right, like the Dread Mastery type stuff.
Right. So I like Terror from Beyond, and I like Gods from the Machine, and I like this better than I like them all, and I always say that, I know.
Yeah.
But I like those
But
better than I like Dread Fortress, Dread Palace, Temple of Sacrifice. So
right.
So yeah, for that reason, I like it. I really like it. I like some of the jokes in here. I gave Matt the feedback that it would be really cool if there were data pads with emails that we could read as we went through here too.
Yes.
I said specifically that Simo would really like that. So hopefully he'll put that in, but probably not.
Oh, I'm sure that will weigh extra heavy with him.
So yeah, so that's that. That's that. That's the update for our operation. We might run it a couple more times once it's all sort of tuned up on the PTS. Keep the feedback going to Matt. I like doing that. I don't want to burn myself out on it, but I'm happy to get in there and try it out and test it out too. And that way we'll be able to guide our teams through it as well when it goes live. In community news, the New York Cantina, keep hitting that, keep talking about that. That's coming up in about a week and a half now, October 4th at 7 p.m. I will be out there. I haven't made my airline flights yet. I'll make them this weekend. But I'm going to go out there Thursday afternoon. I'm going to do some work in my New York office on Friday morning, and then we'll be out there for Friday night. And I'll probably
Cool.
go do a couple runs in Central Park, and then we might get a group of people to go do some stuff on Saturday morning too.
Oh,
So it should be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
I think you should stream your runs.
Stream might get like a GoPro on my head,
Yes.
or put it like on a
Yes.
selfie stick so I can like point it back at me while I run, and I can like talk. I can do like a
Yes.
podcast while I'm running.
Right. And then you could have your Surface Pro and be playing SWTOR at the same time.
I'll I'll play it on the plane. I've done that before.
I know you will. Yeah.
I actually do that relatively often. I play MMOs on the plane, mostly like do like auction house stuff because it's kind of hard to do the dailies, but I've done dailies from the plane. What else in
I
the?
mean, it's kind of hard because you're using like the little mouse that's on the
No,
keyboard.
I bring my gaming mouse on the
Oh,
plane.
well then why? Okay.
I
I should have known.
on the
Okay.
little airline table, I shove the Surface Book to the left. I put a mouse pad on the table, and I pull out my wireless gaming mouse. And
When the flight attendant comes by and asks if you want peanuts, you go, "No, no room."
yeah, no, I never I bring a water bottle and a couple Cliff Bars, and I don't want any of their stuff, and
Yeah.
I always get window seats so that I can like crowd over into the window, and I like to be on the right hand side of the plane so I can have the Surface Book on the left, and I can be up against the window, and the person next to me can't totally see what I'm doing because they'll learn all my elite skills, and I I could show them, but I'd have to charge, that kind of business.
Right. You could be a SWTOR coach.
But yeah, so maybe I'll take a picture if I do it again. I've taken a couple pictures though. I've got pictures around here somewhere of me on the planes. All right, so what
So
else is in
also
community
in
news?
community
Yeah.
news, so Teresa released her interview with Charles Boyd, and it was really, really interesting to hear them talk about. Basically, they talked mostly about Andron, and it was interesting to hear Charles say that he was he was really taken by Andron in the comics, but he was influenced by the look and feel of it in the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what they used for their inspiration because they felt that that's what people would most recently be.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting how much he had to say about the the culture there that wasn't really spoilery. It was like not only the background,
Yeah.
but how it is now too. It's just,
Yeah.
and I
No real
think everyone
spoilers.
should listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone should listen to it because it's only 10 minutes long, but everyone should listen to it because when you say things like, the story doesn't make sense, they obviously didn't think about this. They do think about it
Yeah.
because they have so much background, and what we see in the game is just like the tip of the iceberg for that. So
Right.
it's there.
Yeah. So no spoilers, but he does even set the stage for. Okay. Well, what's up with the monarchy? What's up with, the
Yeah.
the beast riders? What's what where have they evolved from the comic books and the clone to the Clone Wars and
Right.
from KOTOR 2 and
If you're a fan of KOTOR 2, there's SWTOR to make sure they touch on that.
right, and she did an amazing job. I don't know where she got the
Yeah, she
footage, but
did.
she's got footage of the Clone Wars in here. She's got the She's got the footage mostly from the trailer uh, for 6.0 of what's going to be in the game. Then she's got footage of Onderon from the Clone Wars. She's got some shots from some of the comic books, and she's got a bunch of footage from KOTOR 2.
Yippee. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
She put a lot of work into this.
As she always does. She is a treasure.
As she always does, right?
Is she not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely worth a listen. And what's also worth a listen or a read in this case is community content creators interview. Our featured community content creator of the moment is Zamzam. So this was good. Zamzam's been doing a lot of great work on her blog MMO Bits. In fact, we really like one of the most recent posts that she put up on her blog, which is all about some of the key things for that, sort of specific to the mechanics changes in 6.0 that you could use to get ready for 6.0. So I recommend checking that out, how to prepare for game update 6.0. We may do a spin on this in one of our upcoming episodes where we talk about the other things that we're doing to get ready. But she mentions a few specific things about what you might want to save because of the mechanics are changing. What's going to happen to CXP boosts.
Yeah. What to spend and what to save, basically.
Yeah. And then the last bit, which is what achievements that might no longer be available, which is what we were doing with the Summer of 300.
Yeah.
But then they also did the full interview, and it's worth a read. She does a good job talking about some of the stuff that she started.
You get some of her background, and you get a sense for her passion for MMOs in general. SWTOR was her first MMO, but not her last. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And then she talks a little bit about her process for writing her blog posts.
And she gives some advice for guide writing at the end. So if you have aspirations to write guides, some good stuff in there.
Right. You want to do a shout out to the chat room, Seema, to wrap us up?
Oh, yes. It is the time of the shout out. Yes. Basically, thank you, chat room, for being here, helping us with sound checks, keeping us entertained while we're chatting during the show, and keeping us honest when we start to say something wrong, which we really appreciate. So thank you, chat room.
Thank you, chat room. All right, with that,
even now, our ships prepare to launch and deliver our devices to other worlds.
Okay, I don't know why I played that clip, because we did Dread Fortress tonight, maybe. But we're not going to talk about the Dread Masters. We're going to talk about macro binoculars, just a little bit. Just because we've been doing it, and we've been in the middle of it. But before that, I just wanted to mention right here, in the middle of the Slippery Slopes Cantina, doing a moonwalk right in front of the stage in the cantina is Paxton Raw.
Is my companion, Paxton Raw.
And he's got some moves, man. Look at that. That is a good character model too, isn't it?
Yeah, I do like it.
He's got good armor. It flows well. His head tentacles, his leku work well. He's got good tats. He's a good looking character.
Yep.
They did a really good job on that model.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, his armor is slick. I like the glowy
and his
parts
helmet
on
just works really well with his leku, like you said.
Look, only his left arm is armored. His right arm is just a sleeve, and his left arm has lights on it. I don't know if it's supposed to be like cybernetic. Yeah, just all the little detail. They do a really good job of that kind of stuff. And then you could see how a helmet could be made to accommodate a Twi'lek. Yeah, that's cool stuff. Anyway, yes. So we've been doing macro binocular. The macro binocular it's older content, but still good, still awesome stuff. We did it over the series. We did 2 nights of it so far, and we're probably going to end up doing a 3rd night as well, because not everyone was even caught up. So it's in that, it was a couple hours a night, and it was all sort of us doing it together as a group. So it's a significant bit of content. it's stuff you'll want to plan out and do if you've never done it before. It's definitely worth it though too,
Yeah,
because
because it's a nice little story. Yeah.
yeah, and and
It's
multiple
puzzle content too, which I love.
right, multiple instances. There's like 4 instances that you do. 2 of them are heroic fours that are basically like mini flashpoints, and 2 of them are solo or can be solo, and uh, you need to use them macro binoculars in those places to figure out what you're supposed to do and figure out what you're supposed to do next.
Yeah.
So definitely worth it. There's a little bits in between, so you'd sort of do the beginning part to kick it off. Which is interesting. You get the story. You figure out the Shroud's got something going on. He's gonna do something bad. We're all gonna pay. And then there's parts in between which are less interesting, but you gotta do something. You gotta have some sort of progress, so you're not just watching a cutscene and nothing else. And that's you use the macro binoculars to go planet to planet across a number of planets to basically triangulate the clues, the locations to find his next position, kind of thing. So you start out. What did we do? We had to go to Coruscant. There's 4 transmitters on Coruscant. Then you go to and then where's Peach? So that's not the first one. So Peach is later on. So by about the 5th or 6th planet, you get to a little bit of an instance, and there's an Ortolan who's like a minion of the Shroud, who's got a little facility on lockdown, and you need to again puzzle your way through chasing him down and defeating him and defeating all the security droids that are coming after you. And you get to the final room, and he's locked himself behind a blast door, and you have to use these big frost pipes, and you have to turn on the tanks and switch the pipe venting all around, so you're venting all the coolant directly at the door, and then you burst the pipe at the door and it shatters the door. But Peach in particular, I thought didn't I have Peach's voice? I should look that up. That's who we should have had introduce us. Peach is an Ortolan, and it's not often in the game that we've had an Ortolan as a character. And I know
Especially
somebody.
as an antagonist character. Usually we're rescuing them.
Right. Oh, here we go. Why did I not think ahead? That's Peach talking smack at you as you're going through. But I know somebody who's a big Ortolan fan.
Oh yeah,
which is Seema.
yeah. I've always said if we ever had Ortolan playable characters, I would want to do that.
way past companion or pet. Seema just wants to be
Right.
one.
Right.
Okay.
Companion would be okay, but not pet. They can't be a
Yeah,
pet.
no, because they're sentient. Yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
Maybe a baby Ortolan.
Although
could be
that would be adorable.
wouldn't it?
That would be adorable.
Anyway, Peach is bad, so you got to punch Peach in the face.
Yes, you do.
But that leads to you triangulate on a few planets, triangulate on a couple more planets, and then the really interesting part is when you get to the end. So the 2 heroic fours are really cool at the end. The penultimate heroic four, the second to last one, has got this super cool mechanic, and I didn't record us doing it, but I did find a great video up on YouTube. Here, let me give credit to the person who did this. This is Fixer 40,000. So Fixer 40,000 posted this video in 2013. Still relevant.
We did say old content, yeah.
And it shows.
It's kind of a sort of a Mission Impossible kind of thing where you're just like leaping across moving vehicles, and
yeah,
it's really fun.
Yeah, it also reminds me of Star Wars Episode 2 when
Mm-hmm.
Anakin
Yeah.
jumps, he jumps out of the speeder as they're riding around Coruscant. It's set on Nar Shaddaa, but you're in one of those traffic flows. Look, you can see it going on right here. You're in that traffic flow, and you have to jump from speeder to speeder, or from shuttle to shuttle that are flying in the traffic flow to maneuver yourself
Yeah.
across this line of traffic and chase down the person that you're trying to get to. So it's not easy though. This is definitely platforming.
It is. And when I did it, I mean this week I didn't really have to do it because you ran ahead and then we got sucked forward. But when I have in the past had to do it myself, it took me a few tries on some of those jumps.
Yes, in fact, all of us died at least once going through here.
The good thing is though it's kind of in chunks. So if you make it to a certain point and then miss a jump after that, you come back to that point instead of having to start from the very beginning every time.
Right, exactly. And if one person in your group makes it to that next point, you
Yeah,
could
that too.
you could kill yourself, and you would then appear at that next checkpoint, basically. So each of the big round top ships are the checkpoints. And yeah, when you die, there's a speeder that takes you right up to it. But look, further in this traffic flow, and it's not only just jumping from shuttle to shuttle, but the shuttles start like moving up and down, and you have to wait for the shuttle
Mm-hmm.
to get like low enough so you could jump on it, and then jump on it, uh, and then uh, wait for it to rise up, and then you jump onto the next one. And then you get to the checkpoint, and then you got to fight ads at each chunk along the way, at each of the checkpoints, basically, and then you fight a boss at the end. So that was pretty cool. I like this. I like this whole little adventure. And then you get to the last heroic 4. So let me see. Did anything else happen in here? So this is the boss fight at the end. Let's take a look at that boss.
I mean, you can conceivably solo this part.
Can you?
Probably.
Well, I mean, this guy
I think
is.
you can, yeah.
So this person's soloing it. Yeah, so probably because the fights weren't very hard. So
No.
especially not in, I was wearing 252, 258.
What was your gear again?
Well, if you want to get into it, we certainly could. We will have a stat cast someday. Someday, and that day may never come. We will run out of topics. And when that day comes, we will have a stat cast. Anyway, I was able to, everybody, each of us who got to a couple of those checkpoints were able to just DPS the ads down and that kind of thing without needing to wait for the rest of the group to catch up. So you can do that. So there's that heroic 4, and then you go to another place on Nar Shaddaa. So you basically were at a shuttle pad, and it took you to where you need to go to what you've discovered by the very end, which is the Shroud's hideout. So you get to the
Right.
Shroud's last stand, or the Shroud revealed, and in that one, now you're breaking into his hideout compound. You need to fight through security measures and security droids and puzzles to get through there. That one I did record our jaunt through his compound, because a couple fun things happened as we went through there, I think, as well. This one you do need 4 people. So
You really do, because I've tried doing with 2 people, and there's just a couple of points where the 4 things you have to click on are just too far apart to be able to run in between.
right, so this is puzzles, and you need to be clicking 4 things basically at the same time within a couple seconds of each other. And so I think even trying to do them with 3 people, maybe it would be possible if somebody like rocketed out twice.
I see what you did there.
Then maybe it could work. But even in this, so you get in this very first room, and you can't. I mean, there's no exits, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. use your macro binoculars. That's the whole point, right? Use your macro binoculars, look around, and look. I looked around. I was like, oh wait, what did I just see over there? I was like, oh, there's something glowing on the shelf. You find what you're supposed to find. You find what you're supposed to do. In this first room, you find a couple of these detached levers, and you put it on the trash compactor. It didn't. I had a bad feeling about activating a trash compactor. I've seen that go bad in the past. But it went fine here. You have to find 2 different levers, put it on each side of the trash compactor, and then it opens the trash compactor door and gets you into the next room. This is, it's not short. In fact, we thought it would be quicker than it was. It's significant. There's a few different puzzles. Here we are killing some security droids, a couple a couple elites and a champion. Not too bad, but here, I mean, we've got a healer and 3 DPS, and you can see we're taking damage. We're needing to heal up. So,
I mean, you could probably do it with 4 DPS. It's just for whatever. It's just.
But now, if you look back here, in each of these bays where we just killed those droids, in this next room, there's a panel. There's a panel that's got a red light and a green light. And if the light is red, it's off. If the light is green, it's on. So you saw it only stayed green for about 5 seconds. So we said, okay, well, everybody's going to line up by the panels. There's actually 4 panels. There's 3 of the bays, and then there's another panel hidden somewhere else. You have to line up everybody to get to all 4 of those panels, and everybody, you got to do a countdown. So it helps to do it if you're all in voice. You say 3, 2, 1, click, because I always say click like that at the end of my countdowns. And that's when we know that we should click.
So one morning, Thon and I tried to do this, right? So
yeah, you said that.
We actually, with the 2 of us, we were able to get past this one to get the door open. But then we were defeated by the next one.
Really?
In terms of, yeah.
Wow.
We had to practice and get the timing down just right, but we were able to open the door here.
Did you like a little force speed kind of thing? Because one person would have to go from one bay to the next.
Rock it out.
Rock it out.
Rock it out.
If only you had it twice, then you would have no problems.
Then it would have been that would have trivialized it completely.
Trivialized the content. So, yeah. So each area then is a little bit of a puzzle. There's little packs of trash too. You gotta. It's pretty much nearly a flashpoint. I'd say this is flashpoint size. This last one. Because here we got to kill some more champion droids. I guess there's not multiple bosses really. But this next puzzle, you basically have a whole area, and then that's on lockdown. You've got to clear like 5 packs of trash around this central area as you're sort of winding your way down these ramps, and then you're discovering a couple consoles and sort of activities along the way. At the very bottom, there's a pad, a control. Oh wait, I forgot about this. This is a little bit kind of boss fight. There's the defense turrets. There's the defense turrets and the sort of the electrified floor. And each time one of those hexagons lights up, it starts shocking you if you're standing there. So you got to step out of the hexagons, DPS all of the turrets down, and then another boss comes out at the very end. And you got to stay off of that floor, otherwise you get fried. Fried, man. Look, then they all popped and they all blew up.
And not in a good way.
But now this console that you unlock there at the end has a pad that allows you to do a couple different things. So somebody has to stay and control this pad and switch back and forth between a couple of the other doors that you're supposed to be opening along the way. And one of the doors is to where I'm going to go here in a second, is the room of poison.
That's right.
And everyone else said, hey, you know what would be cool is, Max, if you went in this room of poison. And I said, oh, man. And they said, nope, you got to do it. And I said...
He said poison. Why does it have to be poison?
I said, I will take one for the team. So BC opened the panel. I ran in there. I clicked. Then we all got into like our panel areas. And I think it's not supposed to work this way, but boom. Then I tried to run out of the poison room, and my force field was closed. And here I am, trying to stay alive. And then I healed myself up enough for who was in there with
So
us.
that we could get close enough to see you die.
BC and Seema came up to the other side of the force field, and they put their hand up on the force field, and I said, the needs of
He did
the
too.
needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one, the few or the one.
He totally did.
And then I died. Cracks me up.
But no, you didn't have to die because when we did it the second time with when Lucy was in there, we
could open it again. So basically, it was BC was not opening it on purpose. Is that
No,
what you're
I
telling
don't
me?
think he didn't realize that he had to open it again, and then he didn't, and then he didn't leave himself enough time to go back and do it before you
Got it.
croaked.
Yeah, we were running multiple people through this, but then by this point, we had a bunch of people there that night, but only 6 people that needed it at the end of this last fight, because the rest of the people weren't up to this part yet. So
Right.
again, with comfortably using 4 people to get through it, or requiring 4 for that second to last part, we cycled another couple people back through. You can get in there and you can do it again if you don't have the mission, if someone else does and they go in first.
This stage you definitely can because we did it. But I have tried to do other stages before with people and wasn't able to.
Oh, I forgot this part. So this isn't the final part. You get to the Shroud's compound and you got to figure out how to fight him. Here is a light bridge that you're trying to power on.
Yeah.
And there's 3 consoles to power on this light bridge. One of them's over on the right, and then the other 2 are down on the lower parts. You need to jump down onto a pipe and walk over to the lower part, clear the trash solo, to figure that part out, and then you can light up the light bridge. Once all 3 of those lower consoles, the one on the left and the 2 lower consoles are lit up. You can see Seema going down there to click a console, and then something awesome and hilarious happens when you finally light up the light bridge.
It's the best thing. It's the best thing ever.
The people that are down there can use like a heat vent to blast back up to the top. But so you turn on the light bridge. I went a little bit too far, I think. Here I'll turn on the light bridge, and then the giant champion droid on the other side. You start walking across, and you go, oh wait, I think I went too fast. Go back it up.
And remember, your compatriots at this part are in the 4 corners of the room, basically.
Yeah. Right.
So
you're there. What is in general? Tarps off, boys. It's go time.
Whatever.
I don't know.
I have no idea what that means.
Come on, do the panel. Click. I'm trying to click it. Me. So I can see
click
this
it,
part.
Max.
Okay, there. Now I'm clicking it. Error, insufficient power. Click all your things, guys. Light bridge activated. And then the big droid walking across the light bridge, and somebody yelled out, "Click the panel, Max! Click the panel!" And you click the panel again, and watch it. Blah, blah, blah.
The light bridge goes away.
And it waves its
The droid.
it waves its droid arms when it's falling down too. It goes blah, 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 blah. Which was awesome.
Super. That was just super.
Super awesome. What
Because I saw that happening from the side. It was great.
you do something similar on what? On Rise of the Hutt Cartel. There.
Yep. Which this
on
is part of.
Makeb. Oh,
Yeah.
so you do something similar on Makeb, where there's a big light bridge and you get like a robot army that's halfway across, and then you retract the bridge, which is a hilarious scene as well. So then you go through that last part. you get up to the to clear out some ads, enter the door, and then you're in, which is a really cool room. I really like the design and the world design and art of this final room. You get up to the Shroud's final room, and he basically stands on a platform. It's about 30 meters in diameter, surrounded by all of these info panels that just sort of continue to rotate around, to revolve around his central panel where he's standing. It's a really cool, you could imagine for him being a master of data and information, just surrounded by all these panels. I have 4 monitors on my desk here. He beats me by
You are also
an
a
order
master of
magnitude.
information.
But this is going to be me in a couple decades. Just going to keep adding
Right,
more
in a
and more
couple decades,
monitors,
right.
and they're all going to be all around me, just like this.
After you get more, cybernetics installed.
Right, that too. But you fight him, and there's some mechanics to the fight. You gotta click the consoles to drop his shield down because he's shielded. You gotta be killing the ads because they'll repair the consoles and shield him back up again. So first you kill the ads, and then he has this little cool effect towards the end of the fight where he clones himself, and there's 12 or 11 clones and him. So everyone needs to really quick, and then he'll start getting headshot. So everyone needs to turn to their clones on their side and DPS them down as quick as you can. You just have to shoot him once to find out which one is the real Shroud, and then he taunts you and says, fine, you found me, won't matter, I'll still kill you, blah blah blah, and then you just DPS them down. Not a very hard fight because again we're sort of overpowered, overgeared at this point in our life cycle. I could read you the stats and explain why. But I will not do that on this particular episode.
That's another show.
But here, you see, we killed him pretty easily, and then you wrap it up. Then there's a cutscene at the very end which wraps up the story because there's a couple characters. In fact, there's a little bit of kind of a dark part at the very end. I got a little sad. So enjoyed the story. Enjoyed the closing scene on Dromakos. So there, you killed the Shroud, or did you? And anyone who's played the game recently has realized that you did not kill the Shroud, and knows the true identity and form of the Shroud in the future. But you did get a really good story throughout all of this as well. Yeah, the resolution of Eevee Bow and what happens to Eevee resolves on Dromakos as well. So yeah, good stuff. I didn't realize 2013, so this is 6 years old.
Yeah.
Still good.
Well, it came out with Rise of the Hutt Cartel.
Which that's 6 years old? Man.
Yeah.
We've been doing this a while, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
So what do you think, Seema? Would you do it again?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. In fact, I probably will. 2 weeks from tonight, or 2 weeks from Tuesday.
I think they should do more of these kinds of things. In fact, one of the things I've always said is, for 6 years now apparently, the puzzles that you do the in the Pige area, in the starting area, and the puzzles to get through this, they're some of the best in the game. Of just the
Yeah, I agree.
complete a puzzle to do a thing, not just here's a boss and there's mechanics to the boss fight, or here's a bunch of ads and there's mechanics to the ads, but especially use the Mac binoculars, seek something out, figure out what you're supposed to do, discover your way through it. This was very good in that way. The Theoretica, which is the original HK47, HK
51.
51, HK 47, 51, 55 is the 51.
Yeah.
HK 51 line was really good that way. But there's not very many of those. They didn't go back to many of those. I like any place that they put in the game where there's just a little bit of a puzzle. I like the puzzle boss in Karaga's Palace, Tower of Hanoi, which is, I think, is amazing. I like.
Okay, so I like puzzles. I like doing them
Mm-hmm.
um not repeatedly though as an ops thing. I really really enjoy puzzles, and I like this content that we did, the macro binoculars, and I like where they've cropped up other places, but I'm not a big fan of the puzzles in ops.
Like the like that fight in Karaga's Palace, or the towers in Eternity Vault.
I don't like it because it require, especially the one in Karaga's Palace, because it requires that you have one person who knows the puzzle and can direct two other people or one other person depending on how you're doing it. Um, and the whole outcome of that fight depends on your group having those people. And let's say you've done that fight 1,000 times already. I don't mind the one in EV where you just do where you're turning the things because it's trivial and you're just you're killing mobs in between all that stuff. But I really don't like the ones in Gods from the Machine that where you have to do them in order to get to the next boss. So I like puzzles, but I don't like them in the repeatable group content, I guess.
Yeah,
I like Operator 9 though,
yeah. Well,
but that's more mechanics. It's not I
right.
mean, it's a puzzle when you're figuring it out, but it's more of the mechanics of the fight, I guess.
So I think you're really I think you're I think you're spot on. So I'm trying to remember where I heard it. It might have been something that Matt Pusevich said at some point. He basically, when when you mentioned the fight in Karaga's Palace, I seem to remember it at some point either in an interview or some other discussion somewhere. He gave a big sigh, for that particular fight. Um, like they loved putting that together, but trying to explain it to
Yeah.
people, make it apparent how you're supposed to do it, make it discoverable to pickup groups, make it available to you know to to random people who aren't in voice trying to coordinate and do it. You're right. I think that could be really problematic. Uh, even even us with a group of people that know how to do it. Well, then somebody that really knows how to do it when you're, especially when it was progression and you really needed to be DPSing really fast, and you needed to be doing the puzzle as quick as you could. And boy, that puzzle was a pain too, because
Yeah.
you had,
You couldn't waste any time.
and there were ads up there
Yeah.
that were they were like killing you.
That's right. And they would knock you off.
They
Yeah.
would like blow up and knock you off, and they would shock you and stun you, and you had to have a healer up there to heal the people who were on the panels trying to do the puzzle while everybody else is trying to DPS down the boss.
I mean, it's awesome,
Yeah, it
but
really
it's
is.
also, yeah.
It is. It's so I guess so save it for veteran mode. And they really did dumb that fight down for story mode. You don't have to move the boss at all. You don't have to do the puzzle at all. You just basically keep clicking the button. So that's what
Right.
they
And
did.
like,
Okay, so
I
that's the way to
mean,
do it, maybe.
like Eric has said in a couple of instances, it's, they really want story mode to be doable without voice, basically.
Right, and that makes sense.
Without voice comms, I mean, so that the players don't have to be on voice to coordinate anything.
Yeah. So that makes sense, and that's a really tough one to do if you're not on voice.
I mean, I know it's disappointing sometimes when your favorite feature has been deleted from a fight, but
But then
gear
do
up
it
and
in
do
the harder
veteran mode, I
modes.
guess.
You
Yeah.
do that in veteran mode, and you do need to move the boss, and you do need to do the puzzle. So there you go.
Yep.
I think that's the right way to do it
Problem
then. And then
solved.
in nightmare mode, then you have all the ads and the stuns, and you have to use all three of the positions, and you have to do them at the right time for the right reason. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, the moral of the story is do the macro binocular quest. I didn't realize this, and I had never completed it on my mercenary. I've done it before, but I'd never completed it on my mercenary. When you complete it at the very end, you get an ability added to your abilities page, which is the macro binoculars. Up to that point, I had the mission item as an item in my mission items tab, that you could still use as macro binoculars for other things in the game.
Yeah.
Like there's a hidden codex entry in your Yavin stronghold if you use the macro binoculars and look out into the scenery in the distance. There's a couple of them. However, now that you've got it, it makes much more sense as an ability, and an ability you can put on your bar, and it works much better. I realized that I, for 6 years, had that quest in my quest log to finish that heroic 4, waiting for an opportune time to do it with a group and to make a big deal of it, which we just did this past weekend. So that was good. All right, anything to wrap up then, Seema, before we kick our astromech out here and wrap it up for the week?
No, just looking forward to 6.0 and thinking about, like I said earlier, thinking about how to get ready for that.
Right. So keep an eye out for our upcoming schedule of podcasts, which we never publish in advance, but you should just always be watching, apparently. But I think what we're going to try to do is I do want to talk about the acquisition updates. Once they get that gearing stuff nailed down, I want to have another show where we're digging into that in more detail. I'd also like to talk about preparation for 6.0. I'd also potentially like to talk a little bit about the lore. We've got a couple lore masters in the game who can dig a little bit deeper into the comic books source of where Andron is at, and maybe some of that stuff in the Clone Wars and really what was going on a little bit. SWTORista's interview is awesome, but we'll just chat about it for a little while. And then maybe I definitely want to dig into crafting. So not promising on all of those, but we've got a bunch of things to talk about. As soon as they get us more of the information, as soon as we're moving into BTS Phase 3, we're gonna keep it up and keep it rolling all the way through the launch of 6.0. And I wonder what we'll be doing at the cantina, if we'll have some sort of a live stream or some sort of streaming going on. I will look into that as well, so keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, keep up with us and watch my Twitter feed and Seema's Twitter feed constantly, apparently, because I don't publish this ahead of time.
Don't watch mine. Nothing happens on mine.
You can find those at Max the Gray and at AIESEMA. And if you know any cool people that should be playing the game with us, coming and joining our macro binocular runs, or, we didn't mention it, coming up on the 27th, a week from tomorrow, is our monthly event in Star Wars where we will be doing the Magenta Crystal mission, which is really cool. If you want to come join us for any of that, please do that. You can find our guild information at aie-guild.org. You can find a Discord link at that guild website, and you can jump on our guild Discord and say, hey Max, hey Seema, hey Marcus, or BCAV, or Zen, or Sten, or
even Hey You would probably work.
Dent. Yeah, who am I missing? Did I get everybody? I'm still missing. Yeah, everybody there will be happy to help you and get you an invite into the guild, Republic and Imperial side on Starforge. We would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.